So, Cassius, you start making your way down the corridor. And as you start making your way, you realize that
It's hard to be stealthy with an ion torch.
it is incredibly hard to be stealthy with a little torch hovering around your head. How far down the hallway are you gonna go?
I would go far enough to where people could still hear me.
Okay.
So, like, I could shout if need be.
Give me a perception.
Ready for another smooth 14? Oh,
It's not
nice.
terrible. You think you hear something in the distance. What languages do you speak? Oh no, never mind. Moving, dragging something along.
Towards or away from me?
With a 20, it's hard to say. There's a
All
lot of
right.
echoing. It's hard to tell if the noise is getting closer or further.
Well, in that case, I will try to get back as quickly as possible.
Okay. Give me a... Oh, you're moving as quickly as possible. Okay.
I can't tell what it is, so it's better safe than sorry.
Okay.
At least that way I'll only maybe get one attack on me.
It won't get any attacks on you. It's all fine.
Well, I don't know what it is.
All right, so you get back to the party.
Well, I don't know what I heard. I heard something dragging something in a direction. Didn't say anything. I just heard the dragging.
Alright, and it was dragging, it wasn't like grinding like gears or anything like that.
Nah, it didn't seem to.
If this was the epicenter of where that thing was, the Kashran was, or the body list, if this was its epicenter, then everything in this area has probably been heavily influenced by it. I would suspect that anything around here moving is probably an enemy, at least for the time being.
My guess is also that if it, well, we've only seen the hill giants down here, or the giants down here, right?
The stone giants, yes.
The stone giants. So my guess is it's probably not another one, but I don't know. If it is, I don't know why I'd be dragging it.
I think I just want to leave this place, friends. I don't know what you think, but I don't want to fight anymore. And I don't have much energy physically or mentally, honestly.
There's no need to take risks. Let's head out the way we came. There's probably no creatures because we cleared that way. We'll rest outside the cave like Zeke suggested, and we can come back in the morning and see if there's anything that's changed. If not,
So you agree with leaving the chests for the giants then?
well, we don't have a choice. I suggest we at least take handfuls of it. We may never come back again.
I think there's a reason that seems fair. I put your lives at stake to come down here, and we are entitled to some things, but largely speaking, just because someone else took over a region and then we took it over back doesn't mean that we should suddenly lay waste to everything. So I think a small amount, this crate is so massive, I don't think anyone would care.
Sounds reasonable to me.
All of you take a couple of handfuls of gems.
Yeah, I'll put some in my bandolier.
What should we put? Just handfuls of gem in our...
I'll let you know about what you guys get afterwards.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm like, I mean, these are giants. I don't know like how good or like how it's probably been a while since they've even been at these crates, but I do at least want it to like to be as diplomatic as I can. I want to make sure it doesn't look like that we've ravaged these things or anything like that.
No, that's why I'm saying, like, I think if each person takes like 2 handfuls,
yeah,
that's enough. That like there's four
off of each one.
Right, there's 4 crates. Each person kind of walks by, grabs out of one, grabs out of the next, and then like the other person is grabbing out of one, grabbing out of the next, and then you're kind of going back and forth between them. I think that's plenty for everybody. Is there anybody that wants to try to oppose Mal overseeing this and try to take a little more?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So then you all can head into the cart and head on.
We're letting Pierre take a handful or 2, right? Also, I assume.
Yeah, he came in here. I would assume.
I just want to make sure that we were letting Pierre take his handfuls too.
That's a very valid point.
Yep.
I promise Pierre hazard pay. He gets it.
Pierre will take it. And all of you will make your way back out to the surface.
And I'm going to make sure to pay extra attention on the way back out, just in case there's stuff for some reason on the way that we came.
Yep. Nope. There is nothing there as you're heading out. You are back out at the entrance. And we take you there. We change the light settings first. So it doesn't kill everybody's computers in the process.
You said that there's still like some of the purple stuff in the air, right?
Yeah, there's still the purple stuff is in the air. The ground still has this weird texture to it.
What about the further we get
all
away
of the you notice that all of the tentacles have kind of fallen and are kind of limp on the ground.
The further we get out of the cave and stuff, does it seem to look the same?
This is once you get outside of the cave. Okay. Outside of the cave, there's still like the ground. So what you're seeing here, just the tentacles now are not there, and none of these things are there anymore.
I just didn't know if it was as dense as it was in there.
These guys have kind of
either
been slain or run off.
One last thing, Steve, before we leave the cave, if I may.
Okay.
If the giants, basically, if something does come back and the giants need help, I want them to try and contact me. So I would just leave them a very simple note written in giant. I can read and write pretty much almost all the languages at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And just written in giant to say, your assets are safe again. It is gone, but it might come back. If it does, contact me. And I'll just sign like my name, Aldronicus, like commander of the Air Force military, kind of something like that.
Okay.
And I'll just leave that note like by the crates, essentially.
Okay.
They had some kind of contact with Tonelli, right?
No, it didn't sound like they were that formal with it. It sounded very they were trying but didn't really get anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if it'd be better to contact him than have him contact you, but I can't read giant anyway, so.
This whole thing was so hush-hush, I'd almost would rather them try and find me, because otherwise we may get left out of the loop again. If they had asked us about this much earlier, perhaps we could have resolved it cleaner than these other parties they sent in, and the situation wouldn't have gotten so bad in the first place.
We did take the bodies to bury also, right?
I think I would just burn them.
Burn them or throw them in the lava?
Yeah, like give them a burial by sea lava.
Okay.
Unless anyone has any other religious stuff they want to do.
No, they said, like, Tonelli said that they didn't worship anybody, so.
They're most certainly not coming back from that.
My religious practice is to not touch them.
Although, it was technically immune to fire from what...
No, these things were not immune to fire. All right. So you guys are resting just outside of the cave entrance, or are you going some distance away?
Maybe a little bit away. We kind of rested near the mouth the other time, and I don't know if those trees are looking kind of wonky or what, or...
Yeah,
they look kind of wonky.
They're still doing okay. They're like a little bit wavy.
Fuck that. Yeah, let's go away from the entrance. And I'll plant a few last trees in the area.
Okay. As you plant them, you notice that you've not actually been running out of seeds somehow.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Is that an intriguing thing in that like there's a shit ton of seeds and I wouldn't expect to be running out given I'm only taking a few out, or is there actually not a lot of seeds in there and it's weird that they're not going?
No, there was like a moderate amount in there, and you know that like based on the handfuls you've been taking, that should have run you out by now. But it kind of occurs to you at this point that like this should be like the last handful, and as you're kind of reaching in, you're like, wait, there's still like more seeds in the bag.
I'll take note of that, but won't really do any action on it at the moment.
Okay.
If you want to save your resources, I don't know if we'll need consecrates here or not now that it's gone, but it's up to you. I trust your judgment. Your better sense of these things.
Well, I have 2 left, so we'll just do 1. That way we have a safe area to get into if we feel we need to.
That seems reasonable to me.
Alright. So you put down the consecrate. And as you do that, Cassius, there is something seems to be shaking in your pocket.
I'm gonna grab the little one. I'm gonna look at it.
You grab out the plant, and it is growing.
Oh, shit. I'll put it at the center of the thing.
Okay. You drop it in the center of the consecrate, and the tree starts to grow very, very rapidly.
Oh, God, I hope we could trust
Roots
these
start
guys.
planting down into the ground.
It's the goddamn Deku tree. No.
And as they start planting their themselves down to the tree, very slowly, a feminine form steps out of the tree itself and looks at you, Cassius. This felt right. Nothing feels like pressuring, but it feels like this is where change can be made the most.
Well, this consecrate's only temporary, I believe. Just so you know.
I will make sure it is more permanent.
Alrighty then.
And she starts moving about the area, and as she does, she's like moving her hands over the ground. And as she does, like you can see the skin start to sort of kind of transform in shape. Slowly, very, very slowly, reverting into what looks dirt-like.
Arvos would like to whisper up to Mal if possible. Like, so you can whisper to him.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Tonelli mention about evil never going away but simply changing? Can we trust this thing?
Truthfully, we promised them this area, and the fact that they're expanding in this direction would actually makes me less uncomfortable than if they hadn't. This will give them an area to grow their forests that is extremely far away from any of our outposts. They may have to deal with the giants, but that is their own problem at this point.
Was Arvos with you guys when you guys talked to these guys initially, or was I not?
You were.
I was?
Yep, because you were, I remember you having like the elf to elf conversation.
Okay, yeah, that was my next question. I can tell this is an elf, right? She's an elf?
She is not an elf. She's a dryad.
Oh, right.
But you were there with us for all these. Okay. Is it the same one? Is it racist to ask if dryads all look alike?
Dryads do look very similar to each other, but you can tell this one is different because it is a different wood type.
Okay, so it could be... Oh, okay, so it's definitely not the one we talked to before.
No, it is definitely not the one that you talked to before.
Okay.
Well, then again, this thing just changed its hand into dirt, so
No, it didn't change its hand into dirt. It's changing the ground into dirt.
Oh, I thought it turned its hand and then turned the ground into dirt or something like that. Or shoot it.
I count 6 shots.
So, I might try and strike up a conversation with her / him.
It technically expresses no gender. It is a tree.
Okay. The dryad is?
The dryad is. Though the dryad recognizes itself as human-esque.
When I last talked with one of your acquaintances, we seem to have a very reasonable understanding. Things had gone weird with what was between you and the previous rulers of Beowulf. Is the plan still to expand in this direction and honor your agreements? We will honor ours.
I believe that is our arrangement. I have a lot to clean up here first, though. This is quite a task. I was not expecting it to be this resistant. Most flesh will eventually turn to dirt. I am just quickening the process, but here, it does not turn quite the same. She looks at you, Cassius, as you make your strange face. This is why you bury your dead. You bury your dead so that they may become part of the soil, which will then grow them anew into better things for the world.
You sure you're going to be safe out here?
No.
I'd actually at some point then sort of go back and talk with Erebos and just be like, it seems like they'll be occupied here for quite some time nonetheless, so I think for the time being we should have some peace for at least a little bit.
Did you ask her or it what it's doing with the giants here?
You there? Are you familiar with the giants? Do you know that they are also in this region? Will there be problems, do you think?
This isn't New York. No. Sorry, immersion ruined. I don't know anything about what goes on with the giants here. I know not how they'll react or if they'll care. Don't giants normally stick to what is their own?
They are very controlling of the mountains. That is merely what I was trying to express. If you stay out of the mountains, I'm sure they will mind their own.
We have no interest in the mountains.
Very good. Then this seems to be a win-win for everybody. I have no other questions for her. I don't know if anyone else does, but if not, I'm down to just give it a rest.
Can you remind me what our arrangement is? Are we allowed free passage here when we so wish?
As long as your intentions are well, then I see not why we would not allow you passage.
Sounds fair.
All right. So the party is resting?
Yeah.
Is someone keeping watch or what's going on?
I am completely out of spell points. Like literally 0. So
Sphinx, can you conjure that cottage you did that one time or no?
Yeah,
it was like a secure shelter or something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. The shelter builds up. And the 6 of you are... What is the sleeping plan? What is the resting plan?
How far away are we from our destination?
You mean you guys... Are you sleeping? You guys are sleeping in the Reach, right?
Well, I mean, like, as far as, like, where we're trying to get to after this.
I don't know where you're going, where exactly you're going after this.
Probably back to the camp. Get these assets back to the camp.
So you've got days before you get back there.
All right.
All right. So what is the resting arrangements?
Mal is gassed. Mal would like a full night's sleep if he can. Like I know Cassius has the Ring of Sustenance, so maybe we just let Cassius rest for 2 hours. Like it's kind of an early day at this point, right? Like it took us 4 hours, getting another 4 hours to get back out, plus whatever time it took us to do what's in there.
Correct.
So is it still pretty early evening, I guess, at this point?
Correct.
So like, could Cassius just get his 2 hours now? And then
I'd say that's pretty reasonable.
Because that would be what I would suggest then.
Okay.
If y'all still don't trust me to be awake while Arvos is asleep, feel free to put somebody else with me.
Just stay away from my room.
I don't intend to go in there, but I just don't know how if people feel that I'm still an issue.
I just I use my remaining 2 spell points on alarms on the like corners of my room, so it covers like basically like it'll alarm anywhere near my.
Yep.
Because I know if I was in his position, I'd probably be concerned still.
All right. Did you rest? That's not the right one. Cassius, you rest.
Fucking God.
You lie down. You take your time to unwind and get in your couple of short hours. But all you can think about while you lay here and sleep is what it would be like to see Aravos either dead or changed.
I don't like how ominous the word changed is.
These thoughts in your head don't stop running. Can't stop running. Your rest is rough. You can feel, though, something heavier than that weighing on you. An old feeling from a while back. It's months now since you felt it really tearing at you. But you were so distracted before. And Aravos reminds you of that feeling. Like Aravos is a part of that feeling. Perhaps, maybe, Aravos might be better used as a way to understand what's inside of you. This thing that you hate. This thing that urges you, wants you to do bad. That made you what you were before.
This does feel different than the other feeling, though. The mind controlling the feeling.
It's like the two are blurring. Like the old feelings you used to have, and this feeling of something pulling at your mind, and your own personal like connection with the Spirit Mother. All these things that you've kind of are getting blended in this dream state as you like try to find focus in it. And when you do finally wake up, you simply feel confused, still somewhat tired, awake enough. But you know that groggy feeling you get, and you haven't like had anything to really start your morning, so it just sticks with you the whole time. That'll be with you.
Morning.
That'll be with you the whole day. So Cassius awakens. Everyone else is going to bed after that. I guess, Mal, you were going straight to bed, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm basically role playing, and like Mal is just completely and utterly gassed. Like, this is the most exhausted. Like, Mal has other resources different from spell points, and he's like literally just gone through everything. I feel like he would just want to sleep so badly right now.
What about Pierre? Does Pierre sleep like normal 8 hours?
Pierre has to sleep normal 8 hours.
Okay. But the golem doesn't.
Nope.
I'll try to talk to him for a little bit during that time.
Okay. So you distract yourself with the golem. And the golem is happy to carry on with whatever conversations you want. Everything to it right now is completely new and interesting.
I'm going to ask him about himself, try to learn a little bit more about him.
That's hard.
He probably doesn't know much. I'm well aware out of character. But
yeah, this is one of those times where you're talking to somebody, and it's kind of like talking to a little kid who's just come to recognize that they're that point that a child really reaches, self-awareness. And so like it recognizes who everybody else is, it recognizes who itself is, but it doesn't really quite understand some of what it's doing and why it's doing these things.
It understands that if you put objects behind your back, they don't go away forever.
Yes, it does understand object permanence. It did not fail that Turing test.
That's good.
All right. So you can keep yourself distracted in that way.
But trying to make sure that I'm staying awake.
But for one of you, Maldronicus.
Can't I just get a night of good sleep?
You're there, resting peacefully, but you're still in this purple haze as you are in your dream, with the purple ground beneath you. Are we okay now? You've been wound up a lot. It's been hard to talk. Are you okay? He's a piece of shit.
I was about to ask if this is Ian or Dickface, but that answers that.
Both, actually.
I'm just trying to sleep.
You finally made at least one good choice. Those are yours and you should have taken them. Why the fuck wouldn't you have taken them, you pussy?
Perhaps I should just kill you, too.
You couldn't kill me. You've tried, remember?
That was a choice.
I doubt it. I can feel you've abandoned one of us before.
Maybe one day I'll abandon you, if you behave.
You wish you could. Mal, what is that?
You know how I sometimes describe myself as a shepherd, It's quite literal in some senses. I'm literally a shepherd of lost souls. Except, unlike Sphinx, mine are embodied in weapons.
You think there's a lot of things like me?
Well,
this bitch doesn't get it.
3 for certain.
Oh, there's more. A lot more.
I know.
You should have heard back where I come from. There were many of us. All getting ready to be assigned to our masters.
And how long ago was that, old friend?
You see, the problem with being a fucking dagger is you don't know how long time has passed. No one's ever showed me a fucking calendar.
Well, I would imagine if you were as common as you thought, I would have met more of you, but as it turns out, in many, many months and many travels, I've only encountered 3. Given my apparent remarkable niche for attracting new types of things to me. I would gander that was much very long time ago.
Do you want to meet more of us?
More of you? No.
Oh, that's
More
too
about you,
bad. You're going to. The collectors are coming. I've been gone for too long in the wrong place. The body's been found. It's only a matter of time before they find me and recollect me. And I am brought to my real master. Not you, you charlatan piece of shit!
Well, maybe I should just put you out of your misery so you don't have to do that.
You couldn't. I've seen you. You can't even kill the things that need to be killed. You have to let it come down to a group decision. If the group doesn't decide to kill me, you wouldn't. And all you would do is make them find you faster. Freeing my soul from this thing would make it easier to find you. They're coming.
Is there a point to all this other than to interrupt my sleep?
They're coming. And you wake up.
We've won 2 wars, and now there's another war, and now is this still in the middle of the night when I wake up?
No, you'll wake up probably. Well, yeah, I guess it'll still be night because you went to bed pretty early. So you'll wake up. It'll be like late evening, like very very late night.
But did I get my?
You got your 8 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I would then probably just spend the rest of the night paranoid and kind of go outside the hut and sort of just sit up on the roof and kind of look around, and just the things like inside my head of like they're coming would just sort of like reverberate in the back of my mind. But I would say pretty much nothing as the night kind of goes on.
Okay.
And if Cassius is around, like maybe I don't know where Cassius does his watch thing, but
he's like talking to the golem just outside. Since the golem doesn't really fit in this giant room, or
right.
in this room.
Well, if Ryan would have any questions for me when I come out, kind of thing, we can do that. But otherwise, I wouldn't say anything specific to Ryan. I'd be being very, very like uncharacteristically quiet for Mal.
Okay. The rest of the party will wake up later that evening. Well rested. And feeling a sense of accomplishment, I'm sure.
Yep. I love. Well, I would have preferred to kill it, but but we did what we could. We did what we could to rid the world of evil, mind-controlling, terrible things.
It was the trade-off.
The rain does not appear that suddenly, but it does slowly begin to rain.
All right.
Does it look like it cleared up even more?
The purple is slowly going away, and weather is something you haven't really noticed much of since you've walked in here. You can now see kind of bits of light coming in, illuminating the area around you like you weren't able to see before, and you can feel the drops of rain falling upon all of you.
What about the dried tree? What's that
it's
look
still
like?
growing, but it's very slow. Like, it managed to take the area around it where it had rooted and permanently cure out that area. But that looks like it's taken the entire night.
Is it worth it to confirm if the giants are still under its control now, or are we just leaving?
I suppose it would only take an hour, right? Especially without the terrible fog conditions.
We might as well. We're here now and we're well rested.
It would take about 9 hours round trip because you have to go down to the caves and then come back out.
I know. I was gathering it might be quicker since the atmosphere isn't as toxic anymore,
okay.
And we could actually just. But yeah, I guess Yeah, so like we didn't encounter any giants until all the way down.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess though you were walking doing that, the cart could probably move a little bit faster through there. So it'd probably take closer to 2 hours, like an hour to get there and then an hour to get down.
Yeah, if we could do it pretty fast, I would be interested in it, just to see if like things are reverting to normal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested in the Giants too.
I will assure you that I will let you know the giants are still in their messed up state. The first one that you encounter does attempt to fight you. I won't have you go through it because it's not very well like healed up, so it'll be easily fell.
Is it possible to, like, when we're approaching, do we see it like mining or resuming some sort of operation, or is it like patrolling, like looking for us kind of thing?
They've all gone back to mining, or actually, no, I take that back. They have gone into kind of a confused state where they're just kind of wandering around.
Okay.
But when they see you, they immediately turn and then start shouting, "I'm sorry," and charging at you.
Is the air still a little thick down here, or is the air dissipated at this point?
The air is still a little thick down here.
Okay.
A lot less than it was the day before, but still thick.
I was thinking it was already gone. So if it's not, then like if I noticed it wasn't gone, I don't even think it would have bothered coming down here because my theory is that the air would fully need to clear, and then on top of it, there might need some healing time. Because if the air is still not thick down here, then we learn nothing from essentially seeing these things.
Well, they would have seen you like the minute you got down into the cave a reasonable way. So
okay. So yeah.
All right, you guys.
So we're not.
Head back.
We weren't close to where the mithril is.
No.
Okay.
All right, so all of you will head back out then and start heading back to the camp.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, okay, so do we want to head to the camp, or do we want to camp out here for like a few days and see how clear it gets?
I guess there's no hurry if we really did want to rest out here and stay. I mean, both are reasonable. I have no urgent hurry if we want to see. And Mal in character would actually be kind of curious to see if this problem has gone away for good, or if it's not completely reversing. But
yeah, I would like to wait and see if after a few days it's cleared up, or if this is something that's going to end up taking months. I don't know. It might.
How many days are you waiting before you go back down and check? Are you like going down every day to check?
I guess I'd like to be doing like a check each day to see like how much the atmosphere seems to be thinning, if it's like noticeable, if there's like a way that I can measure that, like almost like looking at the thickness of the fog, like how far I can see in it kind of thing, or some sort of like measurement like that. And I would basically be like marking with like a stone, this is how far I could see through the fog this day, and then this day, okay. And then sort of like see how quickly it's regressing.
Okay. There seems to be a very slow regression of it. Each day it's probably losing like 5 to 10% roughly.
Okay.
And that's 5% of what currently remains, not 5% of like the total.
I think it'll be some time still, boys and girls. Maybe we should just get out of here and let nature take its course. This isn't going to be over overnight, unfortunately.
Yep, sounds like a plan.
Okay. So a few days pass, and you make your way back to the camp. Let's get a couple of random encounters here, just to make sure everything is cool. Ooh. Centaurs are your new favorite role, now that all the lions are gone.
Well, yeah, the centaurs basically took over all the lion slots.
They still only have a
so-
5% fucking chance of rolling.
Well, they also acquired the 45% chance of lions. So
And a lot of zeros. Yeah, you guys make it to the camp absolutely fine. It rains for a couple of days as you head back, but on the last day, the rain clears. And you return to the camp. As the cart rolls in, Tonelli will leave his tent and head over, waving to all six of you. Is there any conversation that needed to happen, by the way, before arriving at the camp?
Yeah, I'm gonna, after, if we're staying here for a couple days, I'm gonna see if Aravos would be willing to talk to me.
Okay.
And if
What do
he
you
is,
want?
I'd be willing to give Mal my gun as a, goodwill gesture.
Okay. Change the sound
thank you,
to what it would have
Cassius.
been at that time. Very important to get the setting right. All right, the two of you can talk.
I don't even know where to begin. I guess I should apologize. I should apologize. I should apologize.
Talk is cheap. How about one of those sapphires and then we call it even? I'm just kidding, Cassius.
It's hard to tell with you sometimes.
But talk is cheap. You nearly killed me.
For what it's worth, given the circumstances, I'm glad I didn't. I don't know how to go about this, but look, I don't want to hate you. You just make it so easy sometimes.
I feel like you're looking for a reason to hate me. I haven't done anything to you.
No, you're just the kind of scumbag that I'm used to seeing back in Krzyzin. The kind of people that, the wrong kind of people to fall into a crowd with. Very
You
selfish.
keep saying this, but what have I done so scumbaggy that you're so angry about?
There's a lot of things that you do. First of all, you're an asshole. I mean, that's neither good nor evil. You're just an asshole.
Okay.
I mean, granted, I probably am too, especially for calling you an asshole straight to your face, but it is what it is. You're always, maybe not always, I guess always is probably generalizing it.
You know what my
should be a
problem
little
is
more
with
fair.
you humans?
Oh,
you
that's a
make
good way to
these-
start a sentence.
You make these claims, maybe it's because your lifespans are so short, but you make these claims like, I'm an asshole, I'm a scumbag, and I've asked you for one thing I've done, and you're just rambling on. Tell me one thing, one example, besides the damn Pegasus, that you're so mad about.
You tried to steal from the loot that we were getting from things that would have helped the party overall in order to benefit yourself, for once. Well, I guess there's multiple instances of that.
Where was there multiple instances? One time.
The one time at the camp, and then the one
And?
time when we were down in the when we were down there fighting whatever that thing is that Zeke wanted to fight and kill.
Plausible deniability. I had not stolen anything. I was invisible and
You're right. You
revealed
just
me.
did the exact same actions that you had done before, which lead it to be a pattern as opposed to being definitive proof. You're right about that.
Have you heard of the thing where people
Why are you
develop
so
patterns when they
defensive?
don't exist? It's not defensive. I'm asking you for evidence, and you're giving me one
Every
example.
time I try to say something to you, you always have to have the last word, and then you try to brush it off and change the subject.
I'm just pointing out your own fallacies. If you can't see that, I'm trying to help you
Look,
evolve your simple human mind.
do you not hear the things you're saying?
I do. They're quite intelligent. Anyways,
What-
Cassius, we'll call it even if you
You
can
believe that?
agree to start thinking more and stop these
Thinking like Saul?
accusations.
Thinking like somebody who steals information? Why are you so defensive all the time? Who hurt you?
Nobody hurt me. I'm getting close to wanting to hurt you, though.
Well, if you feel like you have to, do what you have to do.
Unfortunately, I was not blessed with such barbaric means. But
Look, I'm sorry that it doesn't help that you're making this harder than it is. I'm just trying to find some common ground because I don't like this feeling, and you don't have to be whatever the hell it is you're trying to be. Who are you trying to prove? Or who are you trying to prove yourself to?
my aspirations
Magnus?
go far beyond that of the military's simple tasks, and if that's all you have in mind for yourself, that's kind of sad.
It's not. Trust me, I'm not a big fan of it myself. It was means to an end. And I'm kind of at my end with it some days.
Well, there's our common ground. The military is a means to an end.
I just don't understand why you're so selfish. I just want to understand. I just don't. I just want it to be easier not to hate you so much.
I participated in this task that could have ended my life. Do you call that
That's
selfish?
true. That is one of the less selfish things that you've done, yes.
And being selfish in and itself is not a bad thing. My self-interest could be the well-being of everyone around me. If you were all to die, what would become of me? I would die.
You're right.
Self-interest isn't a bad thing.
If we weren't properly funded, it would be hard for us to stay alive.
Very true. Luckily, no one stole large amounts of money from you.
Because they got caught.
The amount of money I was taking was merely enough to cover some of my basic spell costs, which the military still hasn't refunded me for.
You think you wouldn't have gotten paid? You think that we wouldn't have given you a cut of the money?
Sometimes a fair cut isn't exactly equal when I'm spending thousands of gold to give you your special bullets and your special things, where you spend what? Copper for your bullets?
Thousands of gold to make sure that my special bullets and my special things can do what they do. It's a one-time investment, but it's still costly.
Sure. Maybe next time you just keep those bullets aimed at the enemy, though.
Man, you make it real hard not to respond to that.
As much as you call me evil and selfish, there's only one of us who's tried to kill a party member, so
Well,
maybe just keep your... And a way to apologize to me is maybe to keep your accusations to yourself for a while. How about that?
Well, my gun hasn't tried to hurt me, and by touching it, so I don't know much about magic or anything, but I'm pretty sure that holy only hurts evil things, which is why I gave it to Mal, because I knew if I gave it to you, it'd burn your hand.
Sometimes divine magic is very black and white. I'm sure you're not holier than thou. Have you ever heard the saying?
I'm not. I never once said I was.
Well, you seem to like to throw it at my face a lot.
No, I just want you to want more, not to be this.
Oh, trust me, I want more.
You know that you're not wanting the right kind of more. You're very selfish. You want
All
all
right.
that power from the thing for yourself. What were you going to do with that?
Help you, perhaps.
I highly doubt that. Let's be honest here. You like me about as much as I like you.
And luckily, the way I view things, liking someone doesn't determine how I work with them.
And I think, fortunately, you don't have the kind of power to do it on your own with everybody else around us. Because I think that if given the opportunity, and if you got enough benefit out of it, you'd off me where I stand.
That is not true.
One moment, let me go ahead and roll the sense motive. I'm pretty sure regardless, I'm going to disbelieve it, but...
So I think with a 17, what you know is that there's no real way that either of you could know the answer to that question. Circumstances can change what a person might think and feel in a moment. And I think that 17 kind of reflects that you say that and you want to believe, like, one way or another that you could know it definitively, but you do know deep down inside that that is a statement you cannot know until the situation were to present itself, regardless of what his intent might even be.
Look, given the things that you've done and said throughout the entire time you've been here, it's made it real hard to trust you. I will say, you haven't done anything deliberately, at least to my face, to try to harm me, and I do apologize for being under mind control effect. But
Yes,
Well-
I forgive you for having a weak mind. It's all right.
I'm just gonna bite my tongue on that because
In all seriousness, I do appreciate the apology, but let's just try to make sure it doesn't happen in the future. I value my life.
I just want to find some kind of common ground, some reason that makes it not so easy to hate you.
I thought we agreed. The military, we see the military the same way. We're
Yeah.
just cogs in this machine that we don't fully agree with. So there's
But
that.
I guess I'm kind of concerned about what your aspirations are outside of that.
Frankly, it's none of your business.
Defensive. What makes you
Honest.
so different than Araclis or the
What does
thing
it matter
down
if I
there?
am the exact same as Heracles? He could be the reason we won that fight. You know how many items he gave everyone?
No, I don't. I wasn't there, actually.
Yes, and you disavowed the one item he gave you that could have helped immensely instead of you shooting everyone.
To be fair, I did not. He had taken it back, seemingly, before we had gotten into that encounter.
All right, I'm done. I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
So we've had this argument before.
The two of you will probably end up bickering. It does not seem like this will be the time for resolution, unfortunately.
I saw progress. Okay,
Over the
I'm gonna call it progress.
over the remainder of the trip, are there any other conversations that may come up?
Oh yeah. So we have each other's gear. I assume we want to switch those back to the proper owners, or
Yeah, I'm probably gonna wait to town though, because I know there might be issues with me taking this item off. So my plan was to wait till we were safely back at camp, to where, if
Well-
need be, I can chill and rest. And
At minimum, you should put the lens back on your person.
yeah, I can take the lenses back, and I'll let you know that I will give Mal this headband, and he can give it to whoever he wants after I've had some time back at camp to take it off and blindfold.
Let's try to stop calling that a headband
Yeah,
and start
Yeah,
calling it
blindfold.
what it is.
blindfold.
Maldronicus, is
so I'm
it,
taking the lens off my sheet.
Okay.
Okay, I'll put it back on mine.
Just let me
Are
know when you
we-
want your goggles back, Tom.
Yes, Eros.
are we letting Tonelli know how much wealth we left back there?
Yes, I typically don't leave anything off the reports. It wasn't ours. The military doesn't take but it is very potentially useful to know how much wealth that the giants have, if it so comes to it in the future.
All right, just want to know, make sure we were all on the same page when we were debriefing.
Yes, I'm not going to become a thief. It wasn't ours. The military thinks they're entitled to it. There's nothing in my knowledge of the law that suggests that.
Thieving is overrated. Let me tell you firsthand.
Yes, it is.
If there be no other conversations, yay, nay, then the party will arrive back at camp. And as I spoke of, Tonelli will come out to greet all of you, but he has a rather somber look on his face as he makes his way over to you, and he moves to kind of stop the cart and get Pierre to drive it to a halt. And then he comes over to you, Maldronicus, and waves you down
I would, once Pierre stopped the cart, I would get out and come over to Tonelli.
We have a big issue.
Ah, yes, what a great success! And I got a decent bluff right now. Ooh, yeah. And I had followed Tonelli to the tent. But men and women, celebrates. 2 wars! We won 2 wars! And I will follow Tonelli into whatever private tent he wants to lead me to.
Okay. So, can I have everyone here? Actually, I can do this way, can't I? No, I cannot. Because it will totally ruin the audio feed. So, can I have everybody take off their headsets and please set them aside? Except for Maldronicus.
Onakoibu, eh?
This one's an interesting conversation.
How are we gonna know when you're done?
I will probably cut away to a pause, and I will message in the Discord when it's time.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, but like we're good. It's gonna be like at least a few minutes or whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be a few minutes, so consider it a break for the rest of you.
All right.
Mal, I don't know what's happened over the last few days, but I am deeply concerned about actions you may have taken. I have emissaries of Chrysaisen that have presented themselves here and say they have reason to believe that one of your own is responsible for the death of somebody very important there. I thought loose ends were covered.
It's only... I made sure of it, so you know me. I go to extreme lengths to avoid any unnecessary loss of life. There was only 1 life that was taken, and it was after much deliberate pain to us. Our lives were very much at risk. Although he could have potentially been delivered to the local law enforcement after I was done with him.
Well, they
If
mentioned...
I'm being honest,
Go ahead.
if I'm being honest, I don't know if he was dead already at the time. But he more or less tried to teleport away. Are you familiar with the spell Conjuration Foil?
Yes.
I cast it on him. He failed. His body was ravaged. He appeared away from me, unconscious or dead. I don't know at that point. But yes, at that point, Zeke finished the job. If he was alive, I imagine. But I don't know how they would have tracked this. I literally removed every door. I sealed everything. For them to have found it, it's a miracle.
They mentioned something about a rhino that kept waking back up. They lost hundreds of men trying to get in there. When they realized that prisoners they kept sending up to be judged or questioned were not coming back. And that the people who brought them up there were not coming back.
Gosh, even if they found that rhino, the rhino could not be silenced. It was literally never ending.
They do have other wizards in Chrysaisen. Those wizards took proper action to contain the rhino. And it, to this day, I guess, remains contained in the space that it's in. Once they contained it, I guess they got inside. After dismissing a number of things within the room, they discovered the body. They have questions that I can't answer. Questions that I don't know that anyone can answer. But they seem very interested, for some reason, in the one you travel with. The one that I assume that you said killed him.
I don't know what to do, Tonelli. He attacked us first. We were defending ourselves, but admittedly, he was incapacitated. I can understand, given the history that he has with this particular individual in my party, that there was a long situation going on there, but in my heart, I feel like the wrong decision was made, but who am I to say? Because I feel too often I'm scared to use force when it is needed.
Do you believe he should be subjected to the judgment of Krizaisen? Or do you believe our tribunal should make the decision?
I've been trying to learn the laws and the ways of the military and these nuances. It has been a slow journey for me. I have a good gifted mind, but I have not necessarily picked up on all these things. In my mind, there's two schools of thought. One school of thought was we were in Krizaisen because we needed to dispatch this very great threat, and if we did not, many, many lives would be lost. But on the other side, we were in Krizaisen. Even if we were manipulated, we did take action that should have been left to the local authorities. But I feel like at the end of the day, if we are to honor any oath of what we say to these towns, then it must be that local law has some influence. Otherwise, we are nothing other than dictators.
Very well. Their agents are here. They will take him into custody.
Can I at least have a word with them before? Or maybe that wouldn't be,
You can have your word, but I will assure you that all ways he might have to escape will be kept blocked off. And if he would choose to do so, we would consider him an enemy. We would convict him of treason immediately.
Maybe to not rattle things, maybe it's best I don't go to him then. I believe justice will find the fair solution here. And I would just, I guess, go back to the party. Kind of really silent and morose, but...
Before you go, one last thing that I should make known to you. They don't believe that this was without fault on obvious behalf of the Inquisitor. So they have chosen not to bring him back. They believe something has gone wrong, but they can find no evidence in either direction. Just many bodies scattered around and a creature roaming about, looking, thirsting for death. The body refuses to answer questions in any sort of direct manner, though I suppose its spirit is probably at great unrest, especially if it had some ties to the bones that are in there. I can only assume that what you tell me is true, and not that one of your own is a practicer of necromancy. So know that he's not going back to the very thing that he clearly feared enough to want to kill.
I imagine if I know Zeke, he will not consent to having his mind searched. These Krizaisen Inquisitors, they've done this in the past. They may want to do it again. I will willingly allow it. They can see whatever facts they need. What they will see is that the necromancer, the one that we killed, was the one who brought this rhino into being. But they will also see that Zeke is likely the one that ended his life.
Very well. We'll leave it to their judgment.
Okay.
And with that, we will take a short break, and we will resolve things when we get back.